Hello everybody. So it's Tuesday. I'm not sure if I'll be able to post this tonight or not, but it's usually I do this on Wednesday. And I'm up north. I'm way over there on the horizon. You can see Lake Superior. Yeah, so I'm on the Superior hiking trail. And I don't know. I thought if I'm not going to do the chat now, I'm not sure when I'm going to do it. So this lovely spot presented itself. Maybe the wind will kick up and we'll hear that poplar tree behind me. See the leaves shake? I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's one of my favorite sounds of summer. I think that's, speaking of poplar trees, I believe that's the Poplar River down below me, winding its way to the to Lake Superior. So anyway, midweek chat time. I am not, obviously in Eau Claire, so I'm not sure I know everything that's happening in the parish right now. But a couple things coming up. So hey, we're going to have another parish family softball night. We had one, I think, June 1st. We'll have one on the first day of June and the last day of June. We'll have one on June 30th. I'm glad. Some people said, hey, can't we do another one of those? And so, yeah, sure. If people come up, it's great fun. I'll bring the liquid hydration. I had lemonade last time and the bats and balls. So all skills welcome. You just have to want to have fun with each other and enjoy a summer evening. Well, 6:30 at the Ball Diamond behind church on the playground. Okay, so that'll be on Wednesday, June 30th. Parish bike ride will be this coming Sunday, the 27th at noon. Our Bible Buddies continues. I'm going to miss tomorrow's. I think tomorrow will be the second one out of 5. So thanks, Beth and Kelly, for doing that again. That's 10 to 11:30 on Wednesdays, and it's preschool and up, and the older ones can kind of help and volunteer and things like that. So there's something for everybody, I think. I think I mentioned it once before, but just to keep it on our radar, we're going to have a deanery-wide reconciliation service outdoors. So we've had some success with the outdoor mass. The next one, by the way, is July 3rd, 6:30 p.m., Saturday. But on July 7th, so we will, and the other parishes in the deanery are advertising as well, but it'll be at St. James. I think it's going to be on the quadrant of lawn by the Last Supper sculpture. But I'll let you know as it gets close. But so 7 o'clock, this will be good long days of summer then. So 7 o'clock we'll gather with the other priests of the deanery and share the word a little bit, maybe some music, and then have the opportunity to make a confession. I know it's been hard for some people because of the lack of the communal services to celebrate that sacrament. So anyway, it could be a really great night. We're calling it Grace on the Grass. Let's see, from the spiritual to the mundane, we got raffle tickets for our Summerfest. Summerfest will be August 14th, 15th, and the raffle tickets went up. It's going to go. They're going to go out in 2 shifts because we didn't order enough tickets. So we had a great group of volunteers stuffing them in envelopes, and guess what? We ran out of tickets. So we sent those out, and more will be printed and more will be sent out to other folks. So last year, I think because of COVID, we had a great bump in raffle ticket sales. People really supported that, so that was a great help. If you can do that again this year, that would also be a great help. Let's see, it's just an opportunity to give a little extra if you haven't to the parish. And it's, yeah, so what else we got going here? Maybe just some thoughts. I feel a little bit funky. I've been walking for 4 in case I don't seem as joyful as I might sometimes. But yeah, I had some thoughts just about solitude. I remember reading a book years ago called Reaching Out by Henry Nouwen. And it was at a time when I was considering being a priest, but I wasn't sure. And I was afraid of being lonely. And there's a chapter in there, it's called Solitude and Loneliness. And he distinguished those two. And he kind of said loneliness, and I'm just trying to remember from years ago, so I don't have the book in front of me, but his loneliness comes from a place of fear, that there's nobody around me, there's nobody to support me, what will I do by myself? It's kind of an aching in your gut that maybe you're not cared for, you're nobody's beloved. You know, the rest of the world's all having a good time. I see their happiness on Facebook, and here I am, you know, just sitting at home. You know, those kind of things, loneliness. And a lot of people struggle with loneliness. I think I remember in England last year, they declared loneliness a diagnosis that you could have therapy for, you know, in order to have the health service support financially. But, you know, it made sense. A lot of people suffer from loneliness, and it causes physical problems too, you know. So, you know, and Jesus entered loneliness as well. I think mainly on the cross, you know, my God, why have you abandoned me, you know? So even the most spiritually enlightened person is not immune to feeling lonely sometimes. But this Henry Nouwen, he talked about how solitude is different from that. Solitude, you're alone, but you don't feel lonely. You feel connected to, I don't know, your deepest self, to God, to other people. And so I have to say today, I've been alone all day, but I have not felt lonely at all. I have run into a few people, but basically, you know, I woke up and to the beautiful Lake Superior, and so a lot of it just being surrounded by natural beauty, but it reminds you of God and your connection to the earth. And, you know, so spirituality is maybe that's one of the greatest things about it, practically speaking, is it can help battle our loneliness by helping us know that we're loved by God, that we're a creature of God, we're made for a purpose. It's not just kind of an absurd me being alone with you know, no purpose or meaning. You know, religion gives us this, or offers that. You know, we all have our ups and downs with it, but so that solitude versus being alone. So to be in solitude means to be alone, but really to feel connected to life, to God. I think you could not believe in God and still have this kind of healthy solitude. And other people. I have to say, while I've been up here, my intention was not to come up here alone. I had some friends that I thought were going to come, and they were not able to. So, but I didn't want to cancel my reservations. And something, you know, I didn't think of it as a retreat, but maybe it's a bit of a retreat now, and I always do those alone. But you know, I just remember I had a great friend, Bob Farragon, and he was a priest in Chicago. He died, I don't know, 6 years ago now, 5.5 years ago. And once I was coming up to Lake Superior, and I was talking to him on the phone. He was much older. He was ordained. He's like, well, I don't know, 30 years older than me. So he was kind of a father figure, a mentor priest for me, I guess. And anyway, I'd call him once a month or so, and we're talking. And he just happened to say, so what are you doing this summer? And I said, well, I'm going up to Lake Superior in a couple of weeks. And I just to be polite, honestly, I said, if you'd like to come, you know, I can share my room with you. And he said, okay. I was like, oh, I don't know. I was kind of looking forward to actually, at that point, I was looking forward to being alone. I was going to make a retreat of it. But so I'm like, well, great, you know, and thus began a tradition that lasted almost 10 years of us coming up to Lake Superior. Then he developed Parkinson's disease. In fact, every time I go by this Flood Bay wayside, just upshore from Two Harbors, I think of Bob. One day we had bought some smoked fish at Lou's there, and we parked at the wayside, and we're going to walk down these few steps down to the shore where you can hear the waves coming in and just eat our smoked fish. And everything was set to be beautiful, and he fell. He fell walking down. He was just starting to get the symptoms of Parkinson's disease, where he had that shuffling gait. And it was a soft fall, fortunately, so there were no cuts or bruises or anything. But, you know, I just remember that. I thought, oh, this friend of mine is sick. He's not going to be with me probably forever, you know. And sure enough, probably 8 years after that episode, you know, he died. And so, but anyway, I remember that, you know, kind of just off the hand, well, I'm going to Lake Superior, you want to come? And that led to this, you know, beautiful sharing time. And typically we'd come and I'd go hiking all day and he'd read all day, and then we'd meet for dinner, and just a nice relationship there. So I'm holding him in my heart, and I'm feeling present to him. A couple of years ago, same thing. I said, Mom, I'm going to Lake Superior, you want to come? And she said yes, and I didn't expect that. And that was 5 years ago. And she was 85, 86. And I took her hiking on a loop, and I was remembering her last night when I was on that same loop. It was not an easy hike. I can't believe I took her on it. It seems cruel that I would have done it. In my memory, in my defense, in my memory, it was not a difficult hike. It was just kind of, you park near the mountaintop and you walk out to it. You see this beautiful view of Lake Superior, and that's it. Anyway, I did it last night, and I thought, oh my heavens, Mom did this hike? Because I was kind of gassed, and I thought, wow. You know, I don't think she'd be up to it now. She's going to be 91 next month. But and then it was funny. I like to take her. She's hard to impress, you know. And so I take her. Oh, this is my favorite restaurant, you know. She goes, okay, we can go. And I'm like, oh, good. You can hear those leaves now blowing, right? Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous to the ears. Anyway, we sit down. I go, you got to have the grilled fish, you know, and because they specialize in grilled fish. And so she orders a burger. And I was like, Mom, would you order the fish? She says, I don't feel like fish. I'm like, okay, all right. So I let it go. But then at the end, I go, well, how'd you like to, you know, and she goes, well, there's nothing, this is no place special, she said. There's nothing so great about this. I go, well, it's because you ordered a hamburger. It's a, you know, so anyway, so I'm remembering these things. These are Lake Superior, North Shore memories I have. And my buddy Mark, we went backpacking here once, and I just got these new pair of boots that I thought were waterproof, and it was a big rainy day, and my feet were soaked, and I was stressed because I was cold and wet, but I was more stressed because I just bought these new hiking boots, and my feet were all wet, and that didn't seem right, and could I get a refund, and you know, all these things. And my friend Mark, he's such a good friend. He was just very patient and listened, you know. But lo and behold, it was cold and wet, and we survived, you know, the things we survived. So these are things, you know, I suppose they could make you lonely to remember those things, because today I'm just kind of alone, but I don't. I treasure those things, and I feel connected to these people. And I think God brought these people into my life and made those moments happen, and God's still with me, you know. So I think it's just really a big issue, that to be alone and to be okay with that. You know, some people are very extroverted and they like a lot of people around. A lot of people want to have a lot of quiet time. Sometimes it's a little of both, you know. I was alone today, and starting out, and I ran into these hikers, a man, his wife, and his two dogs, and their two dogs, and the dog was named Oso. My brother told me my mom was afraid I would see a bear while I'm here, you know. And anyway, by coincidence, the dog's name that I met today was Oso, which I'm pretty sure is bear in Spanish. So I can tell Mom I did meet a bear. But anyway, it was kind of fun to see him, because I was alone all day, and I just a little banter back and forth for a couple minutes. It was nice, because we do need each other, I think. And then it was raining, and I found a nice quiet spot. This is like an hour later, and I'm looking down at a lake, and it's raining. I'm sheltering under a pine tree, just really quiet and beautiful. Then these people show up again. They start chatting away, and the dogs are barking, and I'm thinking, darn people, I want to be alone. I just like to hear the rain on the leaves and everything. And so, you know, human beings, how do we ever get satisfied? We always want something other than what life presents us sometimes. So these people that I treasured to break my loneliness were suddenly an annoyance, you know. But then I ran into them again, and they said, they were actually right here. They said, oh, you like this view, and they were leaving as I was coming. And they said, is your name Tom by any chance? And I said, oh, yeah. So I thought, well, maybe they were at St. James for Mass. I didn't know. And he said, I said a few things to be funny. He goes, well, I think I saw you at a restaurant once. And I'm like, but he said, no, we found this. In fact, I wrote down my notes. We found this envelope on the trail. It said Tom. And I said, oh, it must have fell out of my pocket when I lifted my camera out of my pocket to take a picture or something. And so I said, oh, yeah, well, thanks. I go, I didn't litter. I'm not a litter. I don't like to litter. She goes, yeah. You know, Cynthia here said that when we met you earlier, that you didn't give off that vibe that you would litter. So anyway, that kind of made my day. That just in an ordinary interaction with someone, I gave off a vibe that led someone to believe that I would not litter. So that's good. We should all try to have that vibe, I think, right? Anyway, so I got this back, and I said I brought it just in case I had some ideas. I could write something down. He goes, well, would you like it back? So then he gave it back to me. And see, I wrote some things down about loneliness and solitude. Yeah. Anyway, you can tell I've been alone. I'm just a chatterbox, right? Chat, chat, chat. Yeah. Well, I will continue my walk in solitude and try to enjoy that. If I start feeling lonely, I'll remember all the good people out there that'll watch this video. All the good people at St. James and St. Joe's where I served, and Newman where I served, and St. Pat's where I served. And I'll hold everybody in my heart in prayer, okay? So God bless you.